Okay, so we'll start from magnitude of force. Last class we had read about the magnitude of force. So what is magnitude? Resultant force is known as magnitude. So there were three conditions. Now if two forces act along the same direction, so they will move the object, that was resultant force. If two forces act on an object along opposite direction, so the force will move in the direction of greater force. Sorry, not the force, the object will move in the direction of the greater force. And if they act in opposite directions, so it will cancel the resultant force and the net force will become 0. Now, types of force. So force is divided into two broad categories. First is the contact force and second is the non-contact force. So we'll see the examples of contact forces. So contact force means in which there is physical contact, means we directly touch the objects. They cannot act from a distance. We have to touch that object. So again, contact forces is subdivided into two groups. In your though it has been divided into many groups, but in your book only two is given. So first one is your muscular force. So as the name suggests, what is muscular force? The force in which we use our muscles of our arms and legs. So that is known as muscular force. So we had read that force is push and pull. So push and pull involves the action of muscles in our body. A number of activities which we do in our day-to-day life, so that involves the action of muscles. For example, when we have to lift any object, like a bucket you have to lift, or you have to lift your book, when you have to push a door, or when you have to pull a door, stretching of a spring, the different physical workouts and all which we do, a number of examples are there. Thousands of examples are there in our day-to-day life in which we use our muscles. So you can see other examples are also given, like pulling your luggage, washing clothes. So whatever activities which we are doing in which we involve our muscles of our arms and legs, that is known as muscular force. So now the next topic is friction. Now what is the meaning of the word friction? Friction is something which opposes motion. Motion means movement. When we are doing any movement and the force which acts opposite to our movement, that is known as friction or frictional force. So it is the opposing force. Now this you must have experienced, that when you kick a ball which is rolling on the ground, to move it also you have to kick it, and a ball which is coming towards you with full speed, then also we have to stop the ball. So that is also due to force of friction. So we'll study it in the further examples. Now next is your non-contact force. Now as the name suggests, in this we do not have to use physical contact. Non-contact forces, it can act from a distance. For example, magnet, all of you must have used. In a number of toys, magnets are used. So electrostatic force, magnetic force, gravitational force, all these are examples of non-contact forces. Now first one is your electrostatic force. Now when two charged bodies interact with each other, they experience a force called as electrostatic force. For example, when we rub a comb or a scale on a dry hair, you will experience that they attract a bits of paper and the hair rises towards the comb. So that is possible due to the electrostatic force. So charged objects, they attract other charged and neutral bodies when kept near them. Now another example is given in your book is that of a balloon. Now when an inflated balloon What is inflated balloon? Inflated balloon in which air is filled, and deflated balloon in which the air has been taken out. So inflated balloon is rubbed against a synthetic clothes. It becomes charged and they stick to the wall. Nowadays you must have seen in parties and all what we do. In a room we just use inflated balloon and it just flies in the room. Some of them they reach the ceiling also. So that is all possible due to electrostatic force. Now one do you know fact is given in your book. All of you must have seen paint spray guns. So they use electrostatic force and it is given on a positive charge and it causes every paint particle to become positively charged. And all of you know that like charges repel. Like charges means similar charges like positive positive or negative negative. So when the charges are same, they repel. Repel means they move away from each other. And if the charges are unlike means positive negative, then they will attract. So we will study this in detail. So electrostatic force is example of non-contact force. Now next is magnetic force. All of you must have seen a magnet. So this is a U-shaped magnet. So force acting between two magnets, it is known as magnetic force. So you can see in the picture which is given in your book that when you bring a magnet near magnetic clips, they get attracted to that. Because the paper clips, the nails and all, they are made from iron and these are magnetic substances. So magnetic substances are only attracted by a magnet. Now if we bring a magnet near wooden stick or plastic tumbler and all, they won't attract it because they are not magnetic substances. So what is magnetic force? The force which acts between two magnets or a magnetic substance, it is known as magnetic force. So magnetic force is another example of non-contact force. Non-contact force means which can act from a distance. Now when two magnets with the same poles, that is south pole and south pole, they will repel, they will move away from each other. But if two magnets with different poles, unlike poles, that is south pole and north pole, then they will attract. So attraction or repulsion, it is an example of it happens between magnetic substances and magnet is a non-contact force. Now one activity is given in your book. So we'll continue this in the next video because it takes time to download. Thank you.